Hello everyone, this is Nick Harvey from the OpenShift Online team, and in this video, we're going to go over a few troubleshooting techniques. Now you're probably watching this video because some mysterious person, made a change and broke your application, right? I know that wasn't you, right? Well, anyways, I'll go ahead and show you where to look so that when things break, you know where to find out why they broke. And I'll even show you how a few other things work together to help you identify the root cause. And then if you're not able to fix it yourself, I'll show you how to post something in the community with the right information so that we can jump in and help you as best we can. Now before we go any further, you need to have the RHC tools installed. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and click on this link and it'll take you right to the instructions. The first thing I'm going to show you guys is where to look in your Git output for any errors. Now, if your application isn't working properly, this is the first place you should look. And to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, I'm going to go ahead and push a change that is going to cause this application to fail. So I've made my change. I'm just going to add it in, commit it, and then finally push it up. Alright, so we saw that the application failed, right? We can see here from this status that it did not work properly. And it's going to give me a little bit of an error here on where it failed on the OpenShift side. But if we take a look at this output above, we're going to see the traceback from the Rails engine that says exactly why the framework wasn't able to start. And you can see here that an undefined local variable or method testing isn't recognized. So this is a very similar output you'll see on the local console. If you made that change locally and then tried to run it, you'd probably get a lot of the same output here. So it should be familiar to you on the framework that you're running. And so now you know exactly what needs to be fixed. Now if I go ahead and move that testing out of that production RB file I threw it in earlier, the application will deploy just fine. So I know what you're thinking. Nick, that's great if the application fails, but what about if my application doesn't fail and deploy? What if it deploys just fine, but when I try to access it, it's still not working properly? Well, I've got just the case for you, and I'll show you just how to figure that out. So what I've done here is I've taken my application, I've made a change to it and pushed it up. That will cause it to start correctly, but then fail in the browser. And so if we open up our browser window, you can see that I went to my application here, and I got this very generic 500 error. It doesn't tell me much information and isn't very helpful towards pointing me in the right direction. So where do we look if we need to figure out why we're getting this 500 error? Well, actually, it's pretty easy, and believe it or not, there are two ways that we can do this. Now, the first option we're going to go over is actually the easiest as well as the most convenient. For you Linux users out there, this will be familiar, but don't worry if you've never used Linux before, it's just one simple command. All we need to do is type rhc tail space -a and the app name, which mine is Rails 4. So this is going to connect to my gear and then start displaying the different logs live to my terminal. So we can see that we have the ruby.log, the haproxy.log, and kind of a continuation of the ruby.log. And so what I'll do is if I open up my browser and refresh the page and go back, you'll see here, and I'll go ahead and stop it, that it's telling me exactly why the application has failed. I've got this unexpected keyword end, which means that I need to go back to my index.html ERB and fix my code. The second way to look at our logs is a little bit more involved, but it's also a little bit more verbose, and we get a better history. So, and what I mean by that is that we're just going to SSH directly into our gear and take a look at our logs manually. So to do that, I just need to type rhc ssh-a and the application name, Rails 4. And so you're going to see that it's going to connect me directly to my gear in OpenShift. And once I'm there, I can just cd into app root logs. And so if I hit ls, you'll see that I've got the same logs that were in my tail output. When I open one up, I have the full timeline and the full log file. So you can see here that I've still got that unexpected keyword error that I got in my tail output. However, I can take a look later down in the file to see what might have happened afterwards, or go back to the beginning to see what might have happened earlier. So really that's the better way to look at it if you have the time, but if you're just trying to take a quick look at exactly why that application is failing, the tail output might be a bit quicker. The last thing I actually want to cover is what you might want to include when asking a question or just asking for help in general. Now I know it's not always easy to ask for help, however, sometimes we just need to reach out to someone else to see why we're getting the error that we are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this page here, and it's just Stack Overflow. You guys may be familiar, for those of you who are not, Stack Overflow, or actually the Stack Exchange community, is a great place to ask all sorts of questions and get help from a lot of the experts out there. Now, before you get to this page, this Ask a Question page, try searching around. Use Google or the Stack Overflow search bar here to see if someone else may have already answered it. But if you still can't find something, go ahead and fill out this form here. The one thing you just want to be sure to include is maybe take a chunk of these logs here and paste it in there. Now Stack Overflow has some good formatting tools here that you can use to make it look nice and pretty. But just give a good history of what you were doing, what you tried to do, and any errors you might have gotten, as well as like any section of code that might be relevant. And then finally, just tag it with some of the information here at the bottom. So for instance, I know that this is an OpenShift issue, so I'm going to add the OpenShift tag here. I know that this is a Ruby issue, so I'm going to add the Ruby tag here. And then finally, I know that it involves Rails, so I'm going to go ahead and add the Rails tag here and Rails 4. And then you can go ahead and post your question. And then just kind of wait patiently, and I'm sure someone will point you in the right direction and make you just that much smarter. Well, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, and if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and post them right in the video comments below, and we'll take a look. Thank you. Have a great day, guys. Bye.